I'm Georgia Laverick. I'm currently a third year psychology student and also the psychology faculty officer, and I'm running for VP Education. This year being faculty officer, I've really enjoyed making real changes to education and the way that the psychology department works, but it's something that I want to extend and do on a more university-wide level across different faculties. So my first one is student support, which looks a lot at ARUAs and the personal tutor scheme. Both of them are really good, but they need a lot of adjustments for them to actually work. ARUAs often aren't followed by staff. The extensions were recently reduced from 2 weeks to 1 week, which I want to get revoked back to 2 weeks. And I also want to make sure that they're publicised so that students know before they come to uni what help they can get. Personal tutors, it's just really inconsistent. It works for some people it doesn't. A lot of them, they don't get training, so they don't know how to deal with anything. So I want to give them stuff like mental health first aid training so that they know how to help their students, especially in the meantime when they're waiting on that waiting list to see student services. My second point is space, so study space and parking. I want to introduce more parking spaces because if you're paying £200 for a permit for a year, you should be able to get a space on campus, which 9 times out of 10 you can't. And more study space and making sure that it's more varied and there's different types of study space that people can work to how they work best, so silent study or like social study or just like a quiet study, stuff like that, so that everybody's got somewhere that they can go and work. And my third one is joint honours, which is really like unorganised at the minute. People don't know what they're doing for their dissertations until the last minute. They don't really get much choice in modules. There's no communication between faculties over deadlines, so they're often crammed into short lengths of time. So I'd want to do a full review of that and maybe look at introducing new modules or new content into already existing modules so that students are learning what they want to learn about. I think they're doing a great job of listening to students. Like, there is a lot of opportunity for student voice, especially with like module reps and faculty officer. I think the thing that they need to improve on is kind of publicising just how important them roles are. Last year, psychology didn't have a faculty officer and absolutely nothing got done about complaints. This year, like from the minute I set foot as a faculty officer, I was in meetings going, right, what's happening with this? Like everything I was chasing up. But people don't realise like how important them roles are and how much of a say like students can have. So they're doing these, like they're going into these roles but thinking, oh, staff won't really listen to me because I'm just a student, when actually they do get listened to if they keep pushing for it. You definitely learn a lot in it. Like, you learn the structure of faculty, you see it at like faculty learning and teaching committee meetings, which is really helpful. But also I've built like relationships with a lot of staff members. So I'm very well known now in the psychology department. Like, they either know my name or they know my face. Which I think is really good, and then I'm known in quite a few other departments as well. So I think like that's really good because it means that I'm happy enough to like go and talk to them and they know that like who I am and that I am putting like the interest of students like at the forefront because it's what I've done this year. So I think that is the main thing, is how strong my relationships are with staff. I'm very hardworking and passionate, which I feel like came across a lot yesterday. I've worked very closely with Matt this year. I shadowed him at the beginning of the year, so I've kind of already had a taster for his role. I've sat on loads of different committees and loads of meetings to have a very good idea of how like the structure works, but also how the union works and how that fits into that structure. And I've spoke to like a lot of staff, both within the union and the university, and students to find out what they need, but also how I can move forward to get those plans put in place. So I now have like a full plan of what I need to do for each point that I have, so that I know that I can get it achieved if I get the role.